myself Dr. Divya, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemistry, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. So in this session, you'll understand what is air pollution, causes, effects, and its control measures for avoiding air pollution. So here are the topics: air pollution, its definition, types of pollutants that is causing pollution to the air, and the causes and effects of air pollution, and what are the good solutions or remedials for the air pollution. So air is a precious resource that we have in our on the earth, that we take for granted, like we use for our breathing. Like it supplies with oxygen, which is essential for all the living organisms, and without it we would die. So in atmosphere, like it is about 21% is containing of oxygen. The air composition is about like oxygen is about 21%, 78% of nitrogen, 1% of argon. So these are the composition or the components of air. So what is air pollution? It is like introduction of particulates or biological molecules or other harmful materials into Earth's atmosphere, causing diseases, death for the human, or damage to other living organisms such as animals and food crops. So this there are the foreign particles that come into the natural air. Foreign particles or materials or matter that come into the natural air, causing contamination to the air. So that is that will ultimately cause diseases and also damage to other living organisms. So air pollution may come from anthropogenic or natural sources. So there are different sources of air pollution. So either can be man due to man activity or human activity, or the natural sources also. So what are the types of pollution? We have like primary and secondary pollutants that cause air pollution. So in order to understand, we have to know what is the primary air pollutant, so that caused by primary sources or secondary sources. So these pollutants are the direct result. These are from the direct sources that cause the pollution. So they are called as primary pollutants. So these primary pollutants are like, for example, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, or some particulate matter, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide, or dioxides. So these all come from, these all are like primary pollutants. They generally produce from industrial gases or vehicles that we are using in our daily life. So secondary pollutants are that they are caused by intermingling and reactions of primary pollutants. So these are the pollutants that are the products or the reactions that takes place between the primary pollutants. So for example, sulfide oxides or gases, nitric acid or sulfuric acid that is forming during rain. So these pollutants are like for example, acid rain. So acid rain is like it is just because of these hazardous gases that are present in atmosphere. When it is raining, it mixes with the water that is coming from the clouds and forms acidic rain. So this is a secondary pollutant. So these are the examples for the primary and secondary pollutants. So major primary pollutants are produced from human activity. So as I told, like vehicles, automobiles, the usage of automobiles are biggest cause for these primary pollutants, and also industry gases that are evolving. So these are the primary pollutants that come out. So for example, sulfur oxides, particularly sulfur dioxide, chemical compound with formula SO2. So it is produced by volcanoes and is in various industrial processes. So it comes from various industrial processes like metals, in the manufacture of metals, or finishing or polishing of metals, then transportation like automobiles, pulp and paper industry, petroleum, aluminium smelters, and other industries. So these are the different percentages of sulfur dioxide that are produced just because of usage of different, like we are using different machineries and for our daily domestic consumables or commodities. So coal and petroleum often contain sulfur compounds. So we have seen that crude oil refining. So during refining, there are a lot of sulfur products that come out, or the compounds that come out during the refining process. So this petroleum contains some sulfur compounds, and their combustion generates sulfur dioxide. So on combustion, they produce sulfur dioxide, that is the coming out as a gas and causes pollution to the air. Next is just because of nitrogen oxides that are present in air. So they are particularly nitrogen dioxide are expelled from high temperature combustion. Whenever these it comes only from the high temperature combustion reactions and are produced under thunderstorms by electric discharge. So these like from various industries, nitrogen dioxide also come, like for example energy production and distribution, solvent and product usage, like very less amount from this. However, energy usage in industry. So if we see, for example, either way is like there are a lot of gases that are evolved from the industry. So wastage, like 0% wastage for, but still some commercial institution and household appliances on running also we evolve or expel nitrogen dioxide. So road transportation is of 40% and non-road 7%, industrial process of 3%. So these are the different percentages that are contributing to the nitrogen dioxide pollution. So they can be seen as a brown haze dome or plume downwind of cities. So whenever there is high concentration of nitrogen dioxide, then it looks like haze. See haze. For example, in Delhi, we have highest polluted area, so that is becoming like smoke. It appears smoke, but not really. So that is because of some of these pollutants, for example, nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, other PAN products that are released from the industries. So carbon monoxide is one more contributor to this air pollution. So it is colorless, odorless, toxic, but non-irradiation gas. So this is like it is of no use. Like it will contribute even in the ozone depletion. So it is a product by incomplete combustion of fuel. Any fuel that is running, machinery that is running, whenever there is incomplete combustion of these fuels takes place, then the carbon monoxide is expelled. So such as natural gas, coal or wood. So vehicular exhaust is the major source of carbon monoxide. So if you see this picture, there are a lot of coming out from this silencer, like the carbon monoxide due to incomplete combustion of the fuel. Then comes the volatile organic compounds that forms one of the pollutant. So they are well known outdoor air pollutants. So they are categorized as either methane or non-methane compounds. They can be either methane or non-methane. And methane extremely efficient greenhouse gas. So this is a biggest contributor to the greenhouse gases composition and enhances the global warming. That is, increases the global warming, thereby increasing the temperature of the earth and therefore reducing the resources. So the aromatic non-methane volatile organic compounds, like for example benzene. Why we are saying benzene? It is aromatic. Toluene and xylene are suspected carcinogens and may lead to leukemia, cancer with prolonged exposure. So people working in some of the industries can be affected because of these pollutants. So what are the different industry or the economic parts that are involving in this? Road vehicles, non-road equipment also, like industrial process is of 11%, solvent usage is 29%, other are 13%. So these are the different sectors where there is a scope of this volatile organic compounds coming from. So types of pollutants. So there are different types of pollutants that are causing air pollution. So particulates, for example, is referred to as particulate matter. It is also called as particulate matter, atmospheric particulate matter, or fine particles are tiny particles and gas. So these contribute to the air pollution. So some particulates occur naturally, originating from the volcanoes, dust storm, forests and grassland fires. For example, if we burn some grass or garden waste, the particles generate. So that is from the natural source itself, leaving vegetation and sea spray. See, these are some of the naturally originating particulate matter that causes the pollution. And human activities such as burning of fossil fuels that we use in the vehicles, power plants, power generation plants, and other industrial processes that generating amounts of aerosol. So that also comes into, for example, if we see this picture, we see there is a lot of automobiles we are running. So that is also a cause for the particulate matter, giving out. So that is causing air pollution, and also the exhaust of industries causing air pollution. So these are some of the examples and causes for this particulate matters expelling and causing air pollution. Next is a chlorofluorocarbons. As we see nowadays, we are using lot of ACs and refrigerators for our daily purpose. So that are the main causes. These appliances also release chlorofluorocarbons, which are the refrigerants that are used in these appliances. So harmful to the atmosphere are like ozone layer. So this ozone layer will get depleted, emitted from. So these chlorofluorocarbons, whatever are emitted from, are really banned now. But these are the gases which are released from air conditioners, refrigerators, aerosol sprays. So until we get an alternative for this, we keep on using. So these are some of the applications where we are using refrigerators, refrigerants. So these are the gases that are coming out as a product from the refrigerants whenever they are in the appliances like air conditioners, refrigerators, aerosol sprays. So this allows harmful ultraviolet rays. So whenever there is a depletion of ozone layer occurs, there is a direct UV light coming onto the earth. So that causes skin burn, skin irritation, also various health problems, also rise the temperature of the earth. So next is the ammonia. Ammonia is generally emitted from agricultural processes because a lot of fertilizers use ammonia as a ingredient in making the fertilizers like pesticides or insecticides. So this is a compound with a formula NH3, and ammonia either directly or indirectly is a building block for a lot of synthesis in pharmaceuticals. So even in pharmaceuticals we use ammonia in these processes. So in atmosphere, ammonia reacts with oxides of nitrogen and sulfur to form secondary particles. So this forms secondary particles and also contributes to the air pollution. So for example, in energy production and distribution, it is of 0.2% is emitting, and energy use 0.2%. Industrial processes it is 1.2%, whereas if we see all these together, agriculture sector is having highest percent of ammonia that is giving out because of the fertilizers or the pesticides that we are spraying a lot. So next comes the secondary pollutants. So these are the reactions, these are the products coming as a part of reactions between the primary pollutants. So for example, these are created from gaseous primary pollutants and compounds in photochemical smog. So the smog is nothing but, this looks like smog, but really not because of the climatic conditions, it is because of the pollution in the air. So the smog is a kind of air pollution. So smog results from large amounts of coal burning and in an area caused by mixture of smog and sulfur dioxide. So for example, if we have sulfur dioxide in high concentrations, it will combine with other chemicals or the reactants, so nitrogen oxide or dioxide, and all together will react and form this smog. So this is a secondary pollutant. So for example, peroxyester nitrate, PAN, is a smog that is formed and causing lot of pollution in the air. So the next one is the ground level ozone. It means that ozone layer is depleting. This is the ground level ozone is like ozone layer is becoming thinner and thinner. So this is formed by nitrogen oxides and volatile organic compounds. So this is also an important constituent of certain regions of stratosphere. If you see, this is the ozone layer we have, and this is the sunlight that is coming from the sun. So whenever it gets depleted, when it becomes thinner and thinner, the layer has very less, the content of the layer will be very less and will have impact on the earth. So So this ozone is the layer that is present in the stratosphere, and the photochemical and chemical reactions involving it drive many of the chemical processes that occur in the atmosphere by day and night. So this bad ozone, so whenever there is a depletion, it is also called as bad ozone. Depletion of ozone is also called bad ozone. So whenever there is a depletion of ozone layer, it will cause a lot of problems to the environment and also to the humans, causing diseases. So what are the sources of pollution? There are various locations and activities that undergo in our day-to-day life that are responsible for this air pollution. So there are anthropogenic sources, are man-made sources, and natural sources. So in our daily life, we will be using a lot of in many sectors are present wherein we use different activities. We will be involved in different activities causing air pollution. So we will see in detail how these man-made sources are contributing. So these are related to burning of multiple types of fuels, like for example stationary sources including smokestacks of power generation plants and manufacturing facilities, and waste incinerators. For example, we have incinerators for wastage, so that also creates smokes, and that gives contributes to the air pollution, as well as furnaces and other types of fuel burning heating devices. So this causes pollution to the air, and as the cigars also do, like just like that, it not only contaminates ourselves but also to the atmosphere. So the other pollutants are chemicals, dust, and controlled burn practices in agriculture and forest management. So in forest also, we like there will be a lot of waste generating, so that after burning, that could also generate particulate waste and also other pollutants. So mobile sources include motor vehicles. So motor vehicles, like the gases coming out from the motor vehicles causing air pollution, and marine vehicles are aircrafts. Then fumes from the paint, if we smell some paint, it will be having some chemical compounds that are polluting the air, and also hairspray, vanishes, and aerosol sprays and other solvents. All these are contributing to the pollution of the air. Then waste deposition in landfills. So whenever we are filling the land with the waste, that also generates gases because of the reaction, aerobic and anaerobic reaction that undergo. So that gases coming out will give some air pollution. Generally, the methane is causing the pollution to the air. So the natural sources, dust from the natural sources, usually large areas of land is filled with will be containing vegetation. So methane emitted by digestion of food by animals, for example, is also causing pollution to air. And also radon gas from the radioactive decay within the earth crust. This means, like in the earth crust, whenever there is a decay of radioactive metals or elements, then also there is a possibility of radon gas generating, causing air pollution. Then it is also considered to be a health hazard. Radon gas from natural sources can accumulate in buildings, especially in the confined areas such as basements. So whenever there is underneath there is reactions going on that can affect the basement of the buildings. And smoke and carbon monoxide from the wildfires, whenever there are forest fires, that also gives rise to smoke and also carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide forming, cause to the air pollution. And volcanic activity, which produces sulfur, chlorine, and other ash particles from this volcano. So these are the contribution that all contribute to the air pollution, cause pollution. So effects, what are the effects of this air pollution? So we have seen a lot of the different routes of pollution to the air. So what are the main effects that are really happening? So the effects of air pollution are alarming. Like we really surprised to see that there are a lot of effects just because of polluting the air. So they are known to create several respiratory and heart conditions along with cancer. So whenever there is intake of some particulate matter, like when we breathe particulate matters or the contaminants like smokes, then there generates some problem to the respiratory illness, like it will be causing problem to the respiratory system. For example, carbon monoxide, particulate matter, or the ozone, and the volatile organic compounds will cause cancer, nausea, and skin irritation, and also nerve damage due to lead. So there will be always a nerve damage taking place in the body just because of lead content. Whenever there are labor working in the lead industries, there is possibility for the nerve damage, and also respiratory illness like the other the headache or fatigue that also takes place. So these are some of the effects that are present that will be happening to the body. So air pollution can cause some of the diseases, for example, cystic fibrosis, then lung disease, cancer, difficulty in breathing. So whenever there is, for example, if you see in iron industry, smelting also takes place. So during that, there in the welding industries or iron industries, people will be suffering from this cystic fibrosis or breathing difficulty problems. So wheezing, coughing, and asthma, and worsening of existing respiratory and cardiac conditions. So there will be a lot of problems happening just because of contamination of our air. So what are the effects that happens on the materials or the monuments or the present on the earth? So there are like particulate matter that causes damage because they keep on depositing on this material and etch the surface or the corrode the surface completely. So the corrosion is enhanced or increased. This causes cracks, fading of the pointed surface. So whenever there is a deposition of particle matter on this, there is corrosion taking place, and eventually the shape will be disturbed. So the particulates accumulate on the soil and reduce the fertility of the soil also. So whenever there is also particulate matter accumulating on the soil, the fertility also affects. And another example is the leaves. So chlorophyll will be reduced just because of the reactions that takes place due to chemicals that are depositing on leaves. Chemicals on leaves. So if they are not undesirable chemicals or that are from the pollutants deposit on leaves, that will reduce the chlorophyll percent and the decoloration takes place. So air pollution, just like humans, animals also face some problem, devastating effects on the air pollution. So there are conditions wherein toxic chemicals enter in the air and can also force wildlife creatures like some birds to migrate to other places. Migration of birds or any other animals takes place. Migration of animal species just because of air pollution, because that could not really help in survival. So with the increased in rate of urbanization like industries and urban areas in the country, there are a lot of vehicles we are using and also increasing rapidly, contributing to more and more air pollution, giving out gases like sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, all these giving pollution to the air. And also, so these are the lot of effects on the living the survival of mankind. So what are the solutions we have to opt for? So we have to use public mode for transportation. So we have to encourage people to use more and more public transportation or mode of transportation to reduce pollution. So a big car is really doesn't require for one person. Also try to make use of carpooling so they can be accommodated. If there is 4 people, the car can be accommodated with 4 or 5 people, so that there will be reduced in usage of other automobiles. If your colleagues come from the same locality, it's better to explore using carpooling so that we save the energy and also money. Conserve energy. This is also one type of solution. Switch off the fans or lights whenever we are going out and large, so that we will save electricity. It is like really not directly we are contributing to the air pollution, but we will save electricity. Whenever we are saving electricity, there will be less fossil fuels. Less fossil fuels will be burning. Less fossil fuels for burning, generating electricity. So in this way we can reduce less generating electricity. So in this way there will be less demand. Actually there will be very less demand for the electricity, so that the burning of fossil fuels will go down and also the pollution will lessen. You can save the environment degradation, reducing the amount of fossil fuels to be burned. So that is how we really contribute to the saving of our environment. Then we have to also understand the concept of reduce, reuse, and recycle. We have to reduce the products, the automobiles, or any other machineries that are contributing to highest air pollution, and also reuse, if possible, any reuse the containers or any of the consumables or commodities, so that it will reduce the wastage generation. And also recycle, whenever we have an option for recycling any of the materials that we are present in our domestic life, it is better to recycle them. So do not throw away any of the items that are not used to us. So throwing out or disposal is also a very good, there is a proper management of throw and disposal must be done. In fact, we can use for other purposes. So for example, jars can be reused. The jars what we buy for the jams and all, we can reuse for storing cereals or pulses. So that is how the recycling, during recycling also there will be some pollution taking place, so that can also be reduced somehow. So the emphasis on clean energy sources. So it is better to use clean energy technologies like solar, wind, and geothermal high these days. So governments of various countries have been providing grants or subsidies in our country. Subsidies, so to the consumers which are interested in installing solar panels for their home. So initial investment can be high, so we can even opt for such subsidy from these government organizations and get solar panels installed at our homes. So this will go better and decrease the air pollution in a long run. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.